I think what for people to know is that their own consciousness is a possibilities. It's the source of everything we call reality, whether it is our own physical body or our biology. There's nothing that is not available to us through our consciousness. It's a field of possibility waves. It's also infinitely correlated, where everything is inseparably synchronized with everything else.
So then the last one is, he says, the observer. What does it mean to be, what does he mean by the observer?
So I believe the observer is what we talked about before, is the one that's able to see who's the one that's having these thoughts. The observer is, we're in a place where we're witnessing our life rather than feeling like we're the ones doing our life. And so with the witnessing and the observer, I was wondering, with your experiences that you had when a child, do you feel like this sense of the observer might be a good description of it?
What do you want me to describe what happened?
Yeah.
Well, basically, it happened a couple times when I was a child. It must have been 6 or between 6 and 8. And the first time I remember clearly, it was camping. I was sitting on the camping table and just looking at my legs. And it's funny that you're saying, who am I? Because what I remember, I did say sort of a mantra, but it was kind of like the flip side of that, which is, this is not me.
Uh-huh.
And then kept saying that over and over again, and I got into this space where I felt like it was like almost a detachment where I went, I mean, it seems like going out, but you're really going in, and felt that that this was just a shell, and that I came from another spot where this was something I was placed into, and there was another world where there was an experience, and there wasn't this entity of a human body. There was just something else.
And did you have that, was that the only time that you had that experience?
No, again, I remember one time driving to LA, and I was in the car.
While you were driving?
I wasn't driving, I was a kid. I was in the way
Okay.
back. And again, it was a sort of meditation thing where I did this mantra, and then got into this space where I felt sort of detached from my human body. And I thought that, it could be reincarnation or something, that where, as a young person, you come into the body, the soul, whatever, and that you can have a memory of the prior life, whereas we get codified by society and start thinking things in terms of the way people want us to think about it, and so we kind of lose that attachment to it.
So that was one idea that you thought maybe might describe why that experience happened? Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm just trying to explain I don't know why it happened.
No, but I mean the idea that you said, oh, well, maybe it was like reincarnation. You were trying to put it into some kind of context. Right?
Sure, that you're always going to try to put it in the
Right.
societal context that we have been taught,
Did you, when was the first time that, that happened as a child, and then did you used to think about that experience, or was
Well, it's amazing to me that I can still clearly, I can visually see the images that I was looking at the end. Those kind of memories don't usually stick with you.
Right,
And
right.
this I definitely can remember.
And what do you think your life would be like if you were living from that space now? How would things
Well, it's much easier to detach and to say, okay, look, I'm having this problem in this world here, but there is more out there, and that, who knows what's going to happen in the future,
And the more out there, would you describe it, that you had a sense that, did you have a sense that you were more than this? Like there was something bigger than you? Was it that you were that, or?
It was really the realization that there's more to me than this body, and that there's a separate entity inside or out, outside. I mean, it's really hard to describe because
Exactly.
it's
It's
kind
hard
of
to
inside and
describe.
outside at the same time.
Right.
And that there's this bigger, other part to it.
Uh-huh. So you're more than John Goodmanson? Would you
Well,
say
yeah,
that?
I would say I was more than, John Goodmanson would be a name attached to this human body,
Right.
and it was something else than that.
Right. So you could recognize that there's something greater than the idea of John Goodmanson. If you ask yourself, who am I? Do you think there's a possibility from that deep space that you could recognize that this, what we talked about, the who am I was that? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I mean, it really struck me when you said that because it reminded me of, but then you said it wasn't a mantra, and so then I'm thinking, well, but it was totally a flip side to that because it is,
Right.
who am I? Who
Right.
am I?
Right.
Who am I?
Right. But yeah.
What is this physical body? And then I kept thinking deeper and deeper about it, and it would go into this other space, and the body wouldn't.
Right.
Who am I?
Right. But
What is this physical body? And then I kept thinking deeper and deeper about it, and it would go into this other space, and the body wouldn't matter anymore.
So, when I say not a mantra, it means that you weren't intentionally trying to say, who am I, who am I, who am I? What you noticed was, I'm guessing, that this was going on in your head. These thoughts were coming into your head. It wasn't like you thought, I'm going to do this mantra. Sorry?
Right.
Yeah, so a mantra is when you say, a mantra, not meaning the
Well, I
mantra.
think the first time it just happened, and then
Exactly.
the second time I sort of caused it to occur.
Do you think you caused it to occur, or did it happen spontaneously?
No, because there was an effort involved into
because
making it. Yes.
So I was really quite fascinated by John's story, and I thought it was really quite amazing how all that came together with what we were discussing. And one of our intentions is to try to connect other people and inspire other people to either also have perhaps remember that they had an experience similar to John. So if you have had an experience that is similar to this, or something else that occurred in your life that you'd like to share, we're collecting stories, and you can send your stories to share, SHARE, at momentofawakening.com, or you can go to momentofawakening.com and click on share stories. Also, if you're looking for a sense of community, or what we call Sangha, a group of other like-minded people that are open to these experiences that you'd like to communicate with, you can go to the Alliance for a New Humanity, which is a Alliance for a New Humanity, anhglobal.org. So we'd like to thank you, and hope you'll join us again at Moment of Awakening.
Bye.